Welcome to Beyond the Lesson Plans, where relationships are better than worksheets. We're Lora, and I'm Erin, and today we're going to dive into our introduction episode, the who, the what, and the why about us. So, welcome. This is exciting. It is, yes. We've been fighting with equipment all morning. So, here we go. Podcasting is a lot more technical than I ever thought it would be, for sure. And we're not. So we know how to homeschool. We do not know how to podcast yet. No. Okay. So Erin, let's talk about you first. How many did you homeschool? I homeschooled 2 children. When did you start? So I started at the beginning of 14. Okay. Right? In the fall of 14. Yep. Yeah. And so your oldest was? He was starting 3rd grade. And Genevieve is my youngest, and she was starting 1st grade as a homeschooler. Okay. All right. So then I homeschooled 4. I homeschooled for 22 years. So my oldest is 26. My youngest is 18. And I started in 2003, 2004, somewhere in there, when my oldest Bobby was 4 years old. And other than a very brief stint in a charter school in 1st grade, we homeschooled all of them all the way through. Bobby was in the charter school for about 6 weeks, and then we decided that that was not going to work for us, and so we pulled him out. And we never went back. Nice. Yeah. And where did you decide that they needed to come out? Well, it wasn't a aha moment. It was kind of a perfect storm of a situation. So I originally wanted the kids to do like a year-round program, but they were going to cancel that year-round program through the school district. So we had the kids, we had Anthony in a charter school. But we moved, and it was like a 45-minute commute one way. So that became a lot. And then we were kind of looking at public schools. We finally put them in a public school. So Anthony went to public school in 1st grade. Genevieve started in kindergarten. But then there were talks of them closing the school that was close to us. So then we were going to have to try to we thought we were going to get kicked out of the current school that we were in, and I don't know, lots of stuff going on. But anyways, so homeschooling, someone had talked to me about it, and I was really interested in it, but it was kind of like off the table. I don't think John was too into it. And then with everything happening, it just ended up working out where we started homeschooling. Yes, I never wanted to, but I'm glad you wanted to. I never saw it as, my future. I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to be more of a working mom, but I wanted to work remotely. And I felt like I was going to be home when they were home, but maybe be able to have a little bit of a career. And I did work from home quite a bit throughout the years, but I ended up just homeschooling them, and I wouldn't take it back. I enjoyed it. So you homeschooled for like 22 years then? Yes. So looking back on those 22 years, can you imagine your life any other way? No, not now. I mean, maybe I didn't want to in the beginning, but now I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm glad that it was kind of forced on me in some ways. I mean, it became what I wanted to do, but in the beginning, definitely not. I just never saw myself doing it. I saw my sisters doing it, and it was like, oh, that's great for you. Modern day vernacular. I love that for you. But it wasn't something that I wanted in our world. I saw, charter school or public school or other avenues for my kids. But I always was much more outgoing, and I felt like maybe it wasn't going to be enough socialization for my kids. That didn't end up happening that way either, but it Yeah, 22 years is a long time. But between the two of us, we have 33 years.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting that we're trying to pass that on to the next group of homeschoolers now that we're both finished.
Yeah.
We both finished the same year.
We did.
Which is kind of funny. Genevieve and Levi both graduated in 2025.
Yeah.
So now we are a year out and trying to figure out what we're going to do as retired.
Maybe half a year out.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. But really, if you think about it, the seniors are done in May.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's March. So we're almost a year out. How did we meet, Erin?
So we met at a church event. My church had like a little afternoon movie day with pizza and movie. And we had a mutual friend and she invited you. And while the kids were watching movies, you and I and her just sat and chit-chatted about homeschooling, documentaries.
Were we all homeschooling at the time? You weren't yet.
No, I wasn't homeschooling yet.
But were her
I
and
think she was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were both at the time. And okay, so interesting.
Yeah.
That was in 2012, and then you started co-op in 15? Was that it?
Yeah, I don't know how, because I don't really think you and I talked much after I met you at the church.
No.
But somehow I found out that the co-op was having like an end of the year party and they were doing things for the kids and you guys were going to have like guest speakers. One of them was going to be talking about Common Core. So I pulled the kids out of school early and we went to that. And I think that really sealed the deal for us.
Okay.
After listening to her presentation about Common Core, that for sure got my husband on board.
Okay.
For sure.
And then after that, you guys joined the following fall.
Yeah,
right?
we did. Yep.
And so we ended up going to the same co-op. And then within a year, I was taking over as coordinator for that co-op.
Mm-hmm.
And then you became my right-hand lady right after that.
Yeah.
So we're going 10 years now of being
That's crazy.
co-op coordinators and helpers. That's kind of crazy too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so our co-op is Faith Home Team and they're in Waterford. Well, actually we don't meet in Waterford anymore. I guess we meet in Davisburg, but we're based out of Waterford. We started that a long time ago, but we were not the founders. We just got to reap the benefits for a lot of years. So who would you say for us as our target audience?
Ooh, anybody who's interested in homeschooling, who hasn't started homeschooling yet but is interested, people who are currently homeschooling, new homeschoolers, people who have been in it for a while, veteran homeschoolers, people selling homeschool curriculum.
Pretty much anybody that's involved in the homeschooling world, I would say. I mean, even retirees like us. Maybe you can correct us if we're wrong in some spots and comment for us. But so what was your biggest fear when you started homeschooling?
I don't know if I had a fear of homeschooling, honestly. I think I was just really excited to do it. And I don't know if I feared anything.
You didn't have those, common fears like, they're not going to turn out. I'm going to fail. I'm going to not give them enough.
Not before I started.
Ignorance is bliss, right?
Yes.
Well, did your fear ever come to play? I mean, as you got into it and then you thought, "Ooh, I don't know."
Yeah, of course.
Did your fears come out?
Yeah, you start hearing like, because school, when you're homeschooling, it doesn't look like public school, right? So then you're like, oh my gosh, do my kids need to be sitting at a table? Do we need to do it, Monday through Friday? You start thinking about all that stuff and then you start thinking about their future and are you teaching them enough? Are they getting enough?
Mm-hmm.
How do I prepare them for the future?
So did any of those fears, now that they're graduated, are you seeing them become a reality or was it all just fear for naught?
Fear for naught.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Anthony's, he's an apprenticeship for like heating and cooling. He's doing great. He loves it. Genevieve's, she's a barista right now.
She's living her best
She
coffee
really
life. She is. And she loves it.
She does.
So that's great. Um, I don't know that I had a biggest fear either. I'm
Well, you had done it, right?
yeah,
You homeschooled Bobby in kindergarten,
right.
so you knew from that first meeting with the school that you were already on top of stuff and ahead of the game.
Right. The administration had me no problem telling me that I knew too much. That if I was more ignorant as to what children learn in first grade, that he'd be better off because I kind of double checked their curriculum, and I wasn't real happy with the fact that they weren't starting any sort of structured curriculum as of math or reading, and he was already reading, so I was afraid he was going to go backwards. And so once I met with the administration and they said, "Oh, you know too much," I went home and just said, "Honey, I don't know what we're going to do." And he's like, "Well, he's just not going back tomorrow." It was very black and white for him. It wasn't so black and white for me when I had two other little ones, but
So when he said, okay, he's not going back tomorrow, was it we're homeschooling? There's no other option? Or was it like he's not going back? Let's look into our other options?
no, it was he's just going to come home.
Okay.
He's just going to come home and we're going to homeschool him this year too. And then maybe next fall we'll figure out if he wants, because we always thought he'd go to private school. And so, next year we'll see if we can get him into private school. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. And then, time passed and it just worked. And it just kind of we liked the freedom of it. So we just kept going. What was your why? Did you have a why? Because everybody says, "Oh, you should know your why," because when the days get hard, you should know your why. So did you have an explicit why, or did you just
Um, well, I wanted to homeschool before we were homeschooling, but I don't think I had a why. I just wanted to do it. Like there wasn't anything. Well, I take that back. So, Anthony was a little bit of a nonconformist, typical boy, wants to play, can't sit still during class, he had much better things to be doing than sitting in school. So that was probably originally a big motivator for me.
because he had no trouble learning at home?
No.
It was he just didn't like to sit still, and it wasn't a lack of discipline. It was just he wanted to move more than they wanted him to.
Yeah.
Which is typical for boys.
Yeah.
Boys are very active and give him lots of breaks and they'll be much happier.
Yeah, and his learning style was different than, your traditional school setting.
That's what I always hear about boys.
Yeah.
Is that school's made for girls.
Yeah.
Girls like to sit, they like to color, they like to do this. Boys, not so much.
No.
Did you ever have a mission statement? Like it may sound nerdy, but some people actually have these. And one example that I've seen is to foster a love for learning through delight-directed studies while developing Christ-like character and a strong foundation of faith.
So I'm sure that was in the back of my head, but I never wrote it down as a mission statement and had it like posted on the wall anywhere, but.
So once you pulled them out, there was never, "I'm going to put them back." So you didn't have I'm going to try this for a few weeks and then I'm going to.
No.
Or we're going to try it for this year and then we're going to put them back.
No.
Every year wasn't like reevaluated. It was just after that, I'm done. I'm going to bring them home and do it.
Yeah, no. And I even remember going to the co-op and I remember some of the parents were kind of starting to like wrap up their homeschool journey because they were putting their kids in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so weird to me. I was like, why are you going to put your kids in high school? Like, why don't you just go all the way through? So I don't know what everybody's reason is, but I remember that being kind of weird. And I thought, I'm just homeschooling. We're going all the way through.
Yeah. I think so many, because where we're located, you can't play sports in the public school unless you're a part-time student. So I think so many parents do put them in so that they can play football or basketball or whatever their sport that they're going to become famous in is, that's what they want for them. They want them to have that experience. And Michigan's laws kind of stink in that regard. So, Hopefully that will change. I hear movement on it, but I don't know of anything actually happening. But yeah, I agree with you. A lot of, at the time in those early years, a lot of the families, we didn't have a lot of high schoolers in co op because parents didn't really go into the high school years, or they did part time, or they did dual enrollment, or they did other things that the kids kind of became obsolete in co op.
Mhm.
Um, not the case so much
I was just
anymore.
gonna ask. I don't feel like any of the parents are putting their kids back. The people have
No.
been like going, I'm talking about like the Wendy and the Christina. Like the
Yeah.
kids aren't going back into.
No, no. They have enough outside activities now. I feel like they don't necessarily miss out on anything.
Yeah.
Now, if they're going to be, I guess, travel sports, there's a lot more travel sports teams now. So if you want the big sports
Okay.
focus, you can get that in the travel sport leagues. But as far as I know, we have a thriving teen group
Yeah.
now. So that's exciting. But yeah, we never had a motto of why. We never had any of those either. We didn't. We knew we were doing it for religious reasons in a lot of regard because we wanted to do. We wanted our kids to have Christ the center of their schooling.
Yeah.
But we didn't. We didn't like the way that we saw public schools going. We didn't want Common Core for our kids. We didn't want what the schools were offering, so we just stuck with it and did our own thing. But yeah, we're not big write it all down and have it, up in the classroom or anything. Did you face any skeptics within your family
Not
or
really.
friend group?
No.
Really?
No.
That's great. That is really good. I never really did any, like my close family, most of my siblings were homeschooling as well, or they had homeschooled at one point, and so they were all supportive. Bob's family, nobody homeschooled until after we did. But I don't remember any immediate family. Occasionally you'd get like the aunt or the whatever, the distant relative that would maybe try to quiz your kid.
So I think I did so much research before that I was so loaded with statistics and facts that if anyone questioned it, I was like, well, listen to this. But you know who actually, now that I'm thinking of it, the people at church, I feel like probably gave me a harder time. And it was always, well, how are they going to learn to be bullied? What? How are they going to learn to
take care of that?
I make sure I bully them once in a while. Sorry. Yeah. Crazy. I remember, so one of the ladies was like, but how are they going to learn to, I think she probably did use the word bully. And I had to say something along the lines of, do you think that you being in public school helped you cope with bullying as an adult? Like, how are adults getting bullied, first of all? That's probably what I said. How are adults getting bullied in the workforce? Oh, well, she was a nurse, right? So, I said, oh, so do you think that you being in school helped you get bullied as a nurse? She said no. Okay, so then what are you really worried about? Like, what are we?
Right.
Bullying in the workplace doesn't really happen. Maybe in nursing it does. I don't know.
That's nowadays a bullying in the workforce would be like sexual assault, or to me, I think that's more.
Not calling someone by the right pronouns?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, everything is so politically correct now. I agree. I don't know where you would see that. But I guess we haven't been in the workforce a long time either. So maybe that's not the best comparison.
But why? That's just, if that's the only reason you can think of to homeschool your kids, to make sure they know how to
handle a bully.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good example. That's not a good reason to put them in. I mean, nowadays though, I feel like there's such an anti-bullying policy in schools that I'd be surprised to hear.
Well, you do hear about it, and it's sad because you go on Facebook and you see people on the local community groups talking about their kid getting bullied in school. Pull them out. Pull them out. Why put them through that?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't agree with it, but it is crazy. Let's see. So did you have a favorite moment that made you proud in homeschooling? Can you think of one time? I mean, we've done it so long that it might be hard to pinpoint one time, but
Proud, I don't know. I mean, like, I loved when we did, like, the community service days with the kids.
mhm.
Um, but I don't know if I have, like, I'd really have to think about a proud moment. Do you have a proud moment?
Um, I think because I sent my kids all to the tech school for career focused education in their ninth through 12th grade years, that we did all the core at home and then they went there and it was basically electives for them. But I do feel like maybe I was proud because they were all in the honor society there. So they all had enough education to be able to thrive there.
Mhm.
And success story as far as that goes, I remember my kids coming home and talking to me about their experience there. And it was always a different story, but they came home and one was like, yeah, I can't believe I'm in culinary arts. And the kids coming from public school, they don't know quarter cup, half cup, third cup measurements. They don't know 8 ounces is a cup. And, they didn't know any of those simple math conversions. They had to go through a whole math section in culinary arts as everybody else in the class was a junior or a senior.
Yeah.
And they didn't know those things. They didn't know that you could make a half cup with 2 quarter cups. They did, if the recipe said 3/4 of a cup, they didn't know how to get that.
Yeah.
I mean, so that was a huge moment. But they also had personal moments where they would come home and they'd be like, Mom, did you know that there's me and one other girl, and we're the only two in the whole class whose parents still are married and live together? And so that was always kind of interesting too, because they saw things in that environment that they came home and talked about and was shocking to them.
Yeah.
And so they weren't, you know, kept in a in home and not socialized and not out in the world at all. They saw things, but they brought it home to talk about it. And I always thought that that was something that was really cool in our relationship and our journey, is that if they were shocked by something, they brought it home and talked about it over dinner. It wasn't just, oh, nobody will care about that, I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
something that they always brought to the forefront, and it always surprised them. It was always surprises.
So to feed off of that, the I'm proud of, I can say, looking back, or even during, the closeness of the family, right? So when
Mhm.
you said they'd come home and talk about things that are going on, same with, the kids working. When they're at work and there's shenanigans going on, or the coworkers are doing bad things, the kids felt comfortable enough to come home and talk about it.
Mhm.
You know, they're not hiding anything.
Right, right. That was huge, is the fact that they were very, very open with what they were seeing, what they were doing. There was no
Yeah.
mistrust, and they weren't taught to hide things. It was just, tell us, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything we had to suppress. But what's the most important lesson you hope your children take with them beyond academics?
I hope they take a love for learning forever, I see that a lot with Anthony now. I think he really, I mean, if you asked him, do you like learning? I'm not sure he'd say yes.
Right.
But even with current events going on and political stuff and different things with his job, or he just has so much, just can recall stuff and like, when were you looking this up? Like you're
Mhm.
just interested in this stuff and you're just researching it. Like, it's crazy to me. He's just like, I think, a lifelong learner.
I think so too. And I even find it different. I grew up in public school, private school. I did the both, but I find it interesting because for me, vegging out is like throwing on a Friends episode or a just mindless TV, like mindless. But for Levi, he has such a love for learning that for him, mindless TV is YouTube learning
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I agree with him.
And I'm like, Levi, I sometimes I can't. Like, I'm all done.
Don't you just want to watch something that you can just laugh at? And he's like, I like this. This is great.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here we go. And so it is interesting to see that when they do have a true sense of learning and that desire to, that they're always on.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like work, I guess.
Well, when you're learning something that you enjoy or learning about your interests.
Yes, let's just give an example. He's excited to take trigonometry. He signed up for summer classes at college because he's excited to take trigonometry.
That's awesome. I love it.
So, if you could go back, what is one thing you wish you knew when you started homeschooling?
So I feel like there was something recently that I was like, oh, I wish I knew about that. Probably some kind of a curriculum or program.
Oh, there's so much out there now. Gosh, when I started homeschooling, it was Abeka, it was Bob Jones. It was very basically what they used in Christian schools. We didn't have The Good and the Beautiful, or maybe My Father's World was around, but the internet was just getting going. So you really didn't have, unless you were getting the Rainbow Resource Catalog shipped to your house, you had no idea what was out there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sleeting. It's crazy. It's almost a full whiteout right now. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I wish. I think if I could say something to a new mom or a piece of advice, or something I would have known is to relax.
Yeah.
Don't make it so serious.
Mm-hmm.
Just, they're going to be fine. You do your job. They'll do their job. Yeah, you might have bumpy days, but overall, just relax and enjoy it. Because it goes so fast.
Yeah.
So why would you say that what drove you to want to start a podcast with me?
Well, I know that in the past I've looked for homeschooling podcasts and I really was not successful finding anything. Haven't really been able to find much. There's a few out there. But with you, of course, we just laugh so much and have such a good time. And I feel like we have a lot of information to give and experience to talk about.
I agree. I think there's such a void out there. Now, if someone recommends a podcast to me, I will listen to it. I think it's enjoyable, but I don't go seeking them because I don't really know where to go or what to look for. So I know that it makes me so sad when I see, as the coordinator of a homeschool co-op, of seeing these moms graduate their kids and then they just lose all their connections and they lose all that wisdom, just goes with them, all the knowledge that they acquire, and they just, a lot of times they don't know what to do with it. They don't. So we were sitting over my kitchen table this year doing some prep work for our co-op, and I was like, hey, we need to start a podcast. And you were all about it. So I was like, yay, let's do it. So we've been going through the bumpy start, but it's been
fun.
Yeah, it's been great.
It's always fun.
Yes. What will we cover, do you think?
Well, I'd love to cover things about co-ops, joining co-ops, how to get started homeschooling high school kids, sharing stories. I'd love to interview people with specialties.
Yes. That would be good. Even pulling in some of those moms that we know so close that have some deep thoughts on certain topics.
Oh, yeah.
They would be really a helpful conversation here and there, especially with maybe neurodivergent kids or autistic, those on the spectrum. We have some of those that have done it successfully or are doing it. Homeschooling, single moms, homeschooling, talking to some of them, how they're doing it, how they do it with a full-time job. Pretty much any topic that has to do with homeschooling or even meal planning, household chores, all of those things. How do you do that with all of your kids underfoot?
Yeah.
So I really think that we'll try to hit the whole gamut of the resources and the day-to-day of homeschooling. We'd love it if you would email us or comment something you would like us to talk about. We'd like to have maybe a question of the day or what you're struggling with, something that you think maybe, hey, what could I ask these guys? 33 years of homeschooling, they had to face it at some point.
And so maybe they can give me some feedback and help me out in this area. So please feel free to comment, to email us at beyondthelessonplans2@gmail.com. You can
Subscribe.
subscribe. Yes, that would be great. Other than that, I think we've kind of covered about our basics for today about us. If you have any questions about us, we're happy to answer them. We'd love to hear from you. So thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.